from the government, and I'm here to help.
Take a look, it's in a book.
Some members of the community use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda.
Let's watch Figure It Out.
Welcome back to another wonderful episode of the We Figured It Out podcast. Today, we are with somebody that is what you would call psychic, I guess, would be the correct
psychic,
word.
Man.
Yeah. So we're the end of days best friends. I'm your boy, Michael.
And I'm Matt.
And this is Ryan. You say your last name for me so I don't get it wrong.
No, it's all good. It's Desbien. It's
Nice.
French.
Nice. I definitely would have messed that one up. That is not what I thought it was.
It's all good. Everybody does.
First of all, you do motocross stuff, and we live like in northern Colorado too. So I see a lot of your video things, and I was like, sick. I see a lot of my friends at the places that you post too. So it's pretty cool. It's a growing community.
Live here in Colorado. Dude, I'm a native. Been here my whole life.
Nice.
Raced Colorado moto since I was like 12 years old, and BMX here in Colorado, and every action sport. And the only thing I don't do is I don't snowboard. Of all the things, I actually got a really bad concussion to the point that scared me away, but I never got scared with the moto even after dying. So yeah, man, I'm a weird cat. I'm a retired professional motocross racer, arena cross racer, supercross racer, every kind of motocross that there was with dirt bikes, BMX racing. My kids are both national champions.
Did you just glance over like an NDE?
Yeah, I totally did. I just went right over that. I figured we'd come back to it. Yeah, dude, 2015, there's a local track kind of up north here called IMI. It's not the one you can see from the highway, which used to be there, called VDR or Valley Dirt Riders. But a little bit further up the road, more in like Erie, Dacono area. There's a track that's always been there since I've been a kid, and championship racer in 2015.
So you know about the Wet Wednesdays then, huh? Yeah, that's up in our neck of the woods,
I used to know everybody from IMI. I'm an old school like fluff dude from back in the day, and I've known Brad and all them. Like I used to have freestyle ramps out there, and so that's like my home track too. But yeah, they had a championship out there, and I died and had an out of body experience. Was dead for about 4 minutes on the track. Kept dying. They revived me, took me over to at that time, which was a Vista. Because Good Samaritan hadn't been built yet. So yeah, man, got lots of stories.
Okay, we will get to some of those stories because I'm very interested. We had a guy on here one time who had like a near-death experience, and his story was wild because of all the like beings that gave him information. But before we get into that, I got PSIgames. It's pretty new, right?
PSIgames, man. Yep. So 2025 PSIgames Champion. They had 5 games that folks that were verified psychic with the track record, and I can talk about all that.
Yeah.
Competed in from around the world. I tested to qualify into all 5 games. They ended up letting me compete into 3, just because they wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to compete in what they were trying to compete in. And I ended up podium in all 3 that I competed in. I actually won 1 and got second in the other 2. I'm in for 4 games this year for the 2026 games, and that's just going to be in about a month. The only one I didn't test into this time was remote viewing, and I just couldn't get the high enough score, so it's totally justified to make it. Last year I did though, of course, but but yeah. I'm just a weird cat. I'm a professional long driver as well. When that was a big thing kind of about 10 years ago. And dude, man, I'm just all over the board. I have I'll just start from the beginning if it's cool. It might make more sense that way, and I'll kind of collect it all.
Yeah, it'll be so we quit going all over the place.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say, man, I'm really good at swirling too. So if you like need me to get back on track, or if you're like, all right, we got that part, totally, dude. I'm an open book, so I can ramble. So my name's Ryan Desbien. I'm from Brighton, Colorado. I am a professional athlete, multi-sport. I do all the motorcycle stuff I was talking about. We do BMX. I was a professional long driver for about 3 years. Traveled the United States and the world doing all these different things. So I've had lots of really cool opportunities and met lots of really cool people and done a lot of amazing things. And man, it's been kind of a wild ride. Along with that, I actually have 2 degrees. I have a human services, mental health, and counseling degree with a focus on behavioral analysis. I also have a industrial design degree from the Art Institute of Denver. So I got kind of a weird background. I was gonna go make movie stuff and movie props, and then or cars and body armor, and then I couldn't find a job that was anywhere near where I was willing to start my family, and didn't really want to leave Colorado, so I ended up forbearing the student loans over there and went back and got the mental health and counseling stuff. I come from a therapeutic foster home. My dad's actually retiring next week, so I'm going to feel confident in saying what he did. You're going to be the first podcast that I'm going to tell everybody. So my dad was the head of human services for the state of Colorado and child support and youth enforcement. He actually just got the lifetime award for working for the state of Colorado for about 45 years between the state and county governments. So, unconditional positive regard, family values, being part of a family. Like I said, I'm my parents' real blood child. My mom was a teacher for special needs growing up. Basically, she followed me all through school, and I'll kind of get into that in a little bit. But we were a therapeutic foster home. Like I said, I was my parents' real child through blood, but I always had about 2 or 3 foster brothers that were nonverbal with severe disabilities, either severe autism, severe disabilities, lots of different things. So always just kind of grew up with this unconditional positive regard. Everybody's real, everybody's human, everybody's doing their best. We're all here doing it for the first time. So kind of this just good upbringing of everybody's equal. And we build up ourselves as we build others. Right. And so that kind of being the basis. I went through school. I'll just kind of hit it all because I like to hit it all. I actually was in the GATE program for sure. Which is, I don't know if you know what the GATE program was, but back in the 90s, at least, when I can talk about my personal experiences, it was actually a way to kind of test for psychic abilities through our government. And I don't know if that's all it was doing, but I was 100% part of it. I went to Cole Elementary in Broomfield, Colorado. My principal was named Principal Ray. My mom was actually a teacher there. And what was funny is she always knew when the testing was going on, because I want to talk just one thing real quick. The GATE program has a lot of negative lore and a lot of negative connotation to it. No one in that school would have allowed any of those kids to ever be hurt or tortured or given something that they thought would be harmful. Right. But I do know the pink drink existed, and I know that binaural beats was actually happening, and kind of the things that they talk about, the ways that they tested the GATE kids 100% happened. I specifically, I remember for like 3 years, I would blow the testers away because there's a thing called tangrams, which are these like thin plastic pieces, and you would make designs or do word problems with them. But I could somehow get them to stack and stick to each other and build these like 3D images that nobody else could. And that was like my thing that would always blow them out of the water. And they would use the Monroe, binaural beats. You would do like knot problems and word puzzles and everything from like smells. And you would try to move things. And I remember Zener cards. I was actually incentivized for getting things correct. And I actually have a weird thing that happens when I try to do Zener cards with water, and totally part of it. I went from 3rd grade through 5th grade, Miss Blakemore to Miss Sconyers. And then it just kind of ended. It turned it more to like you need to be part of the Rotary Club and meet local businesses and become like a business leader. And that just wasn't my scene. Give me more of the psychic stuff. Give me kind of the more crazier stuff. I was all into it. But the second it kind of turned like money, money's just, I really love money. Money's important to living, but money's never been my motivator. It's really more about passion. So even back then I was kind of like, this just isn't my scene anymore. And you get into middle school and high school, and I'm doing more sports, and that stuff just kind of fades off. just kind of becomes on the back burner. Nobody really thinks about it to like get back into this stuff in my 40s. I actually have a $2 bill from the person that was doing the testing with their name on it and my name on it and the year that they gave it to me. It was before cell phones and everything. And dude, you're a Colorado dude. There's a King Soopers that's been around forever. It's now a Choose Fitness at like 120th at Main in Broomfield, Colorado. And there was a claw machine in there. This dude the claw machine never worked. Dude got the claw machine to work, gave me this teddy bear. And I was in like 5th grade. So the teddy bear is like not a big deal, but like, I'm like, dude, how did you get that thing to work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he gave me the $2 bill. And this is like 93, you know, when you would meet at places to get things. And so kind of a weird thing. I still have the $2 bill framed with the person's name. And
how did you know they were testing you?
I knew I was part of the GATE program, the Gifted and Talented Education, but I knew what Zener cards were, right? There should be no reason that I knew what Zener cards were unless I was being tested with the Zener cards. And I remember the library room that they had us in, and that they didn't bring us in like where there's a line of people. You would just be pulled out kind of individually, and they would kind of run it. And the library was like right next to the cafeteria, so they didn't want to bring the pink drinks into the library. So you would actually leave the testing area to go into the cafeteria to get the pink drink. And I actually specifically remember having a temper tantrum with my mom because she told me I couldn't have it. I'm like, dude, I just did all the testing. I just did all the things. And this is what I thought was at the end, this like drink that I get to drink. Why am I not getting it? And my mom just was very adamant about no, you know, and in retrospect, I think my mom was probably more psychic than I ever gave her credit for. But yeah, man, just this whole thing, I kind of grow up, you know, literally me and my wife became a therapeutic foster home. We had about 4 different kids in our care. 2 of them were verbal, but 2 nonverbal. Just always been a thing that I've done. I actually, like I said, as we're racing and we're doing all this stuff before me and my wife had our own kids, I'm also a social worker for long-term care. So I worked in skilled nursing facilities and hospitals for a long time as a social worker director. And that kind of has its own thing that I'll kind of go into in just one more second, but that's my main part of my career. This last little bit, I've been a social worker for foster care here in Colorado. So still just trying to help people, man. If you wanted to be a superhero, you know, realistically, in my mind, the realistic jobs would be like a first responder, cop, you know, EMT, firefighter. But if you really wanted to have that moment of connection where you really knew that person was good, then the next step would be a social worker, right? And so that's kind of where I ended up. You know, this whole time we're doing the racing, my mom was very spiritual. My mom's very important in my life, especially in the psychic stuff. And I'm also an artist, you know, I'm very expressive.
Shout out real quick. Social work. My mom is a Adams County social worker. So I definitely understand what you mean there. The commitment to like care about people, because there's not always a ton of reward, you know, unless the people do good. So you got to pour yourself into them, you know. So
well, and you're really making a difference in people's lives, right? Really, really potentially on what you're doing. When I was actually a Boulder County assessor for Medicaid for a long time, and you're literally going into every different type of person's home, you know, and especially in like a skilled nursing type setting, you could have the best person ever who did everything right and had one bad situation that changed their life. And now they're in this kind of worse spot. Or you could have the drug addict that's in every 3 weeks and just, you know, lovingly charging everybody's money and raising insurance prices, and goes right back out and does it again until they're in, you know, the next time. And, you know, the social work director has to put them on the blacklist just because they're, you know, it's at some point, you know, you can't just help anymore, right? Like, especially in like drugs and alcohol, not being a drug and alcohol facility like I used to work in, it would just be really hard to try to take those things on and really work on the real problems compared to just the clinical problems. And so I actually went and did a lot of like crisis intervention as well for like folks. That's also part of, I'll kind of get into the telepathy stuff just kind of to start off. So kind of to get to know that I always knew I had a little bit extra something. Just growing up in that environment where you're constantly around people that are nonverbal, you learn nonverbal communication. You know what I mean? You learn a lot through people's expressions, their eyes. Dude, I hate to say this because the Disclosure movie just came out, and she talks about how when she makes eye contact, she can like read people. Dude, it's for real. And it was to the point that like I actually became a pretty well-known, I still am a well-known behavioralist here in Colorado and for long-term care settings. Just because when I could make eye contact with the person, I could just, for whatever reason, I instantly knew what was going on with them, and I could de-escalate a crisis situation. I could put things environmentally in place that would just eliminate the behaviors at all and increase, the quality of life for that person. And 2020 came around, and in my time as a long-term care social worker, I saw about 3,200 deaths, sat bedside at last breath for about 320. You just see a lot about people, man. You see the soul leave the body. You see that spark. And I'm not very much of a religious person. I love everybody. Like, I don't think one's better than another. I am very spiritual though. I love a good philosopher over maybe more than a religion. Like, I'm very much an Alan Watts guy. I think life is about the dance. You know what I mean? And when you have the opportunity to do things, you got to do it because you never know when it's going to end. You know what I mean? And just seeing so much death also kind of put that in me. Seeing what it looks like from all different sides, that kind of primed, I think, a lot along with the nonverbal. My mom was diagnosed with cancer in 2009. She actually passed in 2015. Pretty hard hit on my soul. My mom was a big part of my life. That being said, I was actually still racing motocross. And so she died in April, and the championships were in September. And at IMI, the place I always talk about, I literally go ride there at least probably once a month. Like, I've been there 1,000 times, but just this one instance, caught it. And, on a jump, you want to hit the jump going straight and just kind of go in a straight line, right? Like, if I'm coming at you, you just want to see the whole bike stay linear. And so when I hit the jump, the rear end caught weird and it flew the whole bike sideways. So basically I 180 whipped, but landed backwards on my left side. Basically I whipped really hard like this and crushed the whole left side of my body during this championship race. I was in 4th place. 3rd or better would have gotten me a championship or at least top 3 and money. And I could say it was for mom and all these things. And 4th place or worse was nothing. I wouldn't have even gotten top 5 for the series. So I was pushing and ended up killing myself in front of my family and all my friends, all my race crew. It was actually a dude that was on the track with me, this guy named Joel, who actually passed of cancer a few years ago, but actually red flagged the race because I had died. And so they were trying to revive me on the track, and my family had to run all the way around. It was a good quarter mile of running for my race team and my family. And then Joel, this guy, actually got off. He stopped the race. He got it going, and he was actually in my class. So he actually gave up his race too, but he red flagged it. They finally got me going after about 4 minutes. I still was unconscious. I actually don't even remember being conscious for at least probably 48 hours. They got me revived. What's interesting, man, is when my mom died, she died for about 4 minutes on the table, to the point that we were just about ready to leave the room, and that was the last moment. And then her heart restarted after 4 minutes. She lasted for another 10 hours. All the family got to say their goodbyes, all the friends. So it was just really weird that me and my mom had this kind of moment where we both were dead for that, literally that exact same amount of time. When I died, to talk about that. Yeah, man. So that's the crazy part, right? Is so I distinctly remember being on the jump. It was daytime, the same jump that I died on. Nobody else is there though. And my mom, iconically just, and she never meant it. Sometimes she meant it to be kind of a mean head, but she would pull me by my ear. It was just the thing my mom did. She would pull me around, and she thought it was funny. My kids thought it, or my oldest thought it was funny. Everybody just knew my mom pulled my ear, right? So she pulls me up off the ground by my ear and just starts giving me a mom lecture. What do you think you're doing? And in the middle of all this, she's being able to phase me into seeing my kids' face, or my oldest face, and seeing him cry and being what happened to dad? And seeing my dad's face, who had just lost his wife, and seeing his face crying, and seeing my wife. And just all the team and just everybody's face and emotions were hitting me as I'm unconscious. You know what I mean? And I hate to be like this, but this is the best way to describe it. It was kind of a Ebenezer Scrooge moment where I kind of saw my present, past, and future, and getting all this emotional download of like, what are you doing to your family, man? Is this really worth it? That kind of happens kind of off and on for about, like I was saying, about 48 hours. I start to come through after about 48 hours. Realized that they didn't grab everything. My leg was still broken. They didn't catch everything when they tried to put me back originally together. So ended up being in the hospital for about a month. During that time and through a whole bunch of other injuries. Well, let me back up one more time. So as part of this, dude, I wear sunglasses pretty consistently. I very rarely don't wear sunglasses. One of the things that happened is I did get a traumatic brain injury. Thank God it didn't erase any of the memory. The day itself is a little bit foggy, but luckily I didn't lose any of my education. I did get some speech stuff. I definitely Willy Wonka words unintentionally. I think I'm saying the right thing, and I'll say something that's close but not right. But the biggest thing that happened is it affected my vision, and almost in a positive way, sort of. It's a curse. But a blessing at the same time. What happened is when I came back from this, right, during all this too, I'm also really learning how to separate my consciousness from my body. I literally have countless friends that got addicted to painkillers through motocross. And I'm not like I drink energy drinks and I drink soda. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do any hard drugs. Like I'm just not that guy. Right. And I don't judge people that do. Like, that's just not what's worked for me and all the stuff I've done, right? You can't really be the social worker and trying to, be out all night doing all sorts of stuff, right? And so, that being said, I come back with this kind of color overlay. So even when my eyes are shut, I'm kind of getting this 3D image outline of what's going on around me. And it's not like perfectly clear, but imagine like if you go on your iPhone and you put in like the black and you only get the outlines of like what's happening. But like if you shut your eyes and you kind of rub them and you kind of get those teals and yellows and blues, that kind of, when you shut your eyes and you're kind of rubbing it, imagine those shades kind of creating shapes in your eyes to the point that, and having enough time being injured that you're able to kind of hone what's actually happening in your vision and realizing how to use it. I guess would be the way to put it.
Like understanding how that's all actually working in your eye, seeing how that's like, it flips in there too, right? Like
to know that it's actually something, not just colors. Yeah.
When I had to learn when I was doing the first amount of Mindsight, my wife will have to tell you about this too. When I was first learning Mindsight, one of the things that's kind of the higher end of it was being able to read, right? You could read through things. And what was happening is my words would be upside down and backwards, so they look like Predator, right? You know what I mean? Like the symbols off the Predator, like beacon thing, because a word backwards and upside down, when you're looking at it visually straight up and down, you're like, what am I actually seeing here? And so that was something I actually had to train to, dude. And so I'll kind of come back to all that too, getting into the PSIgames. But so I get this kind of color overlay. I'm basically teaching myself through trauma, and I don't say this like lightly. I was teaching myself how to disassociate, separate my body from the pain, to be able to withstand it. And I'm glad I did, man. I've never been addicted to painkillers. I've literally trashed my body. Don't be wrong. If I'm in the middle of something, I'm going to be taking the aspirin, or, if my leg's dislocated and my bones are broken, it totally drug me up. But if I don't need it to get over like the hardest part of something, I'm not going to take the painkiller, right? I'm not going to drink alcohol. I don't really smoke. I don't really do too much of that stuff, just because I do a lot of stuff, right? I need my body to be cleanish, is what I'll say. I still need the Red Bulls, dude. Red Bulls and coffee. I can't ever get rid of that stuff.
Shout out sugar-free Red Bulls. That is, dude. That was kind of one.
Red Bulls don't have the pop. Come on.
I love the sugar-free ones. That was part of my question though, because when I was watching like your videos and then I kind of came across you, I was showing my 15-year-old and he looks at it and he goes, that's got to be something where you're just in your room in the middle of the night and you're looking and you go, can I do this right now? Like, can I move it with my mind? And I was like, yeah, I really have no other way how that happens. But, here it is. Do you think you had a little bit of that stuff before the TBI?
Yeah, man. So you led right into the last little bit before I go into PSIgames that's kind of relevant. Cool. Dude, I can gamble. And I am fully proud to be the psychic that says they can gamble, and I can gamble. And I've shown it to every one of my friends. I've shown it to my family. We would go to Vegas 2 or 3 times a year. We would actually race there. We would do like a bicycle race. We would do a motocross race. Then we would go there for a family reunion. And I would say at least out of the 10 years where we were going, out of potentially like 30-ish times, I probably won substantial amounts of money, probably like 22 of them.
Yes.
I did lose sometimes. Don't get me wrong. There was definitely some times where I lost. Not 100%, but dude, when you're and like we were like the triple pearl black platinum for MGM. We would always stay at the what's the one at the end? The Bay, Mandalay Bay. We would always stay at Mandalay Bay, and they at that time had a house band called Steel Panther, dude. And we would literally go every time we were there. Yes. We would go see Steel Panther every single night. And my whole family's been on stage. My mom had, before she died, had a double mastectomy, and went up on stage on Steel Panther along with my wife. And that's all I'm gonna say. My mom was gnarly, dude. My mom was the coolest.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man. So I always kind of knew, and I always would tell people I'm psychic, right? And literally it wouldn't just be Vegas. We've done it up here, Black Hawk in Central City. Like every single one of my friends is like, prove it. I'm like, all right, well, let's go. And I've proven it. You know what I mean? So I still gamble a little bit and post when I have some good stuff. But
yeah,
I've never made a point to like live off gambling. Usually when I start to get greedy is when it just, goes down the tubes. When I'm just trying to have fun and usually trying to help like a group of people, it usually is the craziest, man. It's when it's the most effective. I've like one of my family reunions, we had like 45 people, and I ended up buying them all the like big breakfast at the Bellagio, and we all drove like a thing there, and it was all on my dime from the night before.
It gets that good energy. Yeah, the whole energy dude, starts flowing, right?
Yeah. And when you're doing it for the energy, that's different than the money, right? I mean, you're doing it for the fun you can have with the money, because like when it becomes about the money and doing it for a job, it's like that's not even fun now.
Yeah, it's not fun if it's a job.
You get it.
that reminds
me. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that reminded me just of the Married with Children episode where she has like the psychic ability and can guess all the roulette numbers, and then Al shakes her like, tell me the next number, and he rushes her and it becomes not fun and she can no longer guess them. It's exactly what you said,
dude. It's literally that. It really is. When my wife's ready to come out, I'll have her just tell you a little bit about that too, because man, I mean, it's dude, she had never been to Vegas. She comes from a very religious, conservative family, and then somehow she married me. And once again, I'm not like, there's no Satanism, there's no devil worshiping, there's nothing that has to do with anything like that with the psychic stuff. It's really just, flexing a muscle, really, right? I'm just working on different senses that we all have, and I'm able to kind of flex it a little bit more than people that haven't worked on it, right? And so but she goes to Vegas for the first time, dude. We did this thing called the U.S. Open of Supercross before it was called the Monster Energy Cup and all these other things that is now. And like we went there and like raced, and she met all these high-end dirt bikers. Like back in that day, it would have been like Emig and Milliman, and I was just kind of in the first part of that growing up. But then we like walk in, and so she's never seen a casino, and I'm like, we walk up to a penny machine, first penny machine in, back when you could put a penny into the machine and do the one. Dude, I won like $500 on one penny, dropping it in New York. Yes. And like, she had never seen something like that. And so, dude, it was just crazy. And just, so all this verification, all this like telepathy with like the de-escalation, now we've got this vision thing in. I'm hyper meditating to kind of manage pain, but also honestly to manage my emotions through COVID. Dude, having 15 people that you've known die in like 1 week, and these families, and the families couldn't even come in and visit them because of COVID, and you're having to do these window visits in the last moment, and the dude with telepathy is the only dude that's even in there because your staff of 150 is now a staff of 10, and everybody else is like contract staff that's not even like their main place, right? And so you're just trying to maintain and make it as best you can, and make these last moments the best you can for these people, and try not to lose your sanity in the process. So dude, but all this verification, right? Like I've got all this extra, and everybody's seeing it, but there's not really a place to do anything with it or show it in like a professional environment outside of my taxes for gambling. So then I get a hold of the PSIgames, right? I see Emily Bledsoe post something about it. I think Dana, who does all the stuff about plasma, post some stuff about it last year. I'm like, dude, I'm in. What is this? It's a psychic competition. And I have no idea what this is. I have no idea how big it's going to be either. Initially my thought was, dude, I'm going to buy a ticket to North Carolina to go do some rec room, old person, psychic thing.
Like bingo, like
dude,
almost.
Yeah. I was honestly afraid about that. You know what I mean? And then, so I'm thinking, okay, well, what's the harm in at least trying to see what it is, right? And the website looks pretty legit. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's something a little bit more. I fill out the application. I get like an official email back about 2 weeks later saying that if you do want to be considered, you have to do these tests, and you have to take a certain amount of tests in a certain amount of time. Basically, on the backside of it, what they were doing is they were insulating each contestant and also doing what they needed to do to select them, right? So let's say out of a precognition test, that's a round of 10 guesses, right? If you got 8 out of 10 correct, 8 out of 10 times, for an overall accuracy of around 80% out of the 10 runs of 10 different questions, you know what I mean? You would be able to show that you had an above average ability to do this, and you had the testing to back it, right? And so I tested into all the games. I ended up being first, second, or third for every single game. So once again, I'm like, oh my God. And this isn't just in the way that you would be able to tell where you were is as you were testing, they would give you an overall leaderboard with like a screen name, right? So I was Monsters Nightmare 716, my racing moniker. So I just kept being like first or second. And I know all the other people are like, Monsters Nightmare, what is that? And then, everybody else just has their name or, like an email handle. But I'm like first, second, or third in everything, right? I'm thinking they're like, all right, well, obviously there's a little bit more to this, we're testing high into all this stuff. They ended up calling me. I ended up doing my first kind of, face-to-face with, it was actually a guy named Tyler who was like their tech specialist. I found out through him that I had made the cut and that they were actually needing to do an intro video. So I ended up doing this like intro video with them. I had one more online testing thing in person where I had to do MindSight in person, kind of like I'm going to demo with you guys. But I had to do it with all these other testers. I actually was racing bicycles at the time. And when I get elevated, I affect electronic devices. So I'm like racing. My wife's like, Hakeem's on the phone. They're starting the testing. What do you want me to do? And I had planned to not be racing like way before, but a kid got hurt. So literally I'm on the gate, ready to go as this starts. I'm like, no, just send it. I'll meet it at the bottom. You know what I mean? So they drop the gate. I actually race. I get second place. So I get as fast down as I can. I jump up and I try to start doing the testing with everybody. And I blow up the internet for everybody.
No.
Through jumping on. So then everybody has to re-get on. Everybody's in the room. And dude, so I'm definitely the Happy Gilmore of Psy, 100%. That was just kind of the first introduction to Hakeem, to my Happy Gilmore-ness, the guy that puts it on. So he was actually the one doing the testing. We find out that we're going to be competing in 3 of the games. We fly out there. It's definitely like a Comic-Con big event. Hundreds of thousands of people, probably not hundreds of thousands. That's not the right. hundreds to thousands of people. Probably I think at the most they had about 3,000 people in one of the spaces, but just tons of people. And so it's kind of like like Contact in the Desert or one of these other things where it's like you have speakers and lectures, but then you also have kind of a main event, which is the PSIgames. The main ballroom, which was also the big keynote speaker area, was the stage. We do Mindsight, which Mindsight is the ability to see through items, or they call it extraocular vision. We did psychokinesis, which we tested with an Nagali wheel. I did not know what a Nagali wheel even was. The way they tested it was being able to keep a electronic ball inside an electronic target on a computer program with your mind. And I still have the highest score for that. But then I get there and I'm thinking I'm going to influence some sort of an electronic device. And it was this physical device, the Nagali wheel, which I think ended up being perfect for me anyways, because I crushed it. That was the one I won. We did precognition, which was actually just being able to predict which one was correct, right? Left, right, black, right, wrong. We're going to do some of that with you guys as well. They did remote viewing, which I did not get to compete in. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do it this year, but I can remote view also very well. But
did you do the test? So you've done the testing for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I still tried to do it this year. I just couldn't make the top bunch. I was still in the top 15, but I couldn't make the top 10. So plus, last year there wasn't as many people trying to compete that say they have, I think the other thing is too is the people that were competing or were testing for last year's all were people that were saying they can produce on command. So this isn't just like a random snatch of people in the community. This is people that are saying they can do it. And I'm at the top of these leaderboards. And even this year, I think I still was at the top of the leaderboards for most things. I just couldn't make the top 10 for remote viewing. And I think the leaderboard was top 15. So I was on the leaderboard by just
when like the very first time you were doing all the testing and you felt like you saw yourself getting up there at any time were you like, okay, I'm not that good at this. Is this actually really a thing? Or did you know right from the bat, like, oh, hell yeah, I'm smoking these fools?
Dude, it was kind of weird, right? Honestly, because straight honestly, dude, I'm an open book. My only other reference than the testing that we did for what was going to be coming was Dahlia. So Dahlia Burgoyne did a demonstration at Contact in the Desert last year for Mindsight. And she read stuff. She had multiple layers of the mask on, kind of what she did this year. I actually demoed this year at Contact in the Desert too. But it was just, that was my only other reference, right? Was her demo last year. And so actually what's funny, dude, is so we do all this testing in April, right? Part of what me and my friend Cheryl and what my wife did is I in my heart knew I was going to do well in at least precognition. Dude, I knew the gambling sense was going to be enough there. Even if the other stuff didn't work, I knew we were going to go and show. I just knew it in my heart, right? And so what was really important to me too was to show how we decided to train for it. I lovingly say this, but there wasn't a whole lot of psychic training stuff out there prior to the PSIgames and prior to my involvement. You had people that you could go to like Vision Without Eyes or Vibravision, but they were very expensive, very elite, kind of inaccessible to the everyday guy, right? Yep. And so what was really important to me was to take some of that mysticism and elusiveness out, and just give you the average Joe's, gym version of how you can train for psychic. And so starting from the moment we applied for the PSIgames, I did like a coming out of the closet psychic video to my racing community. I was still racing at that time, to my professional community. But the way I framed it is like, I'm going to go compete into this, and I want to show you guys what I'm doing to train, right? And so from that point forward, I've been posting every training. I've posted the good, the bad, the ugly, our entire process, the entire settings, just trying to show people a good basis of how they could do it themselves and to prove that there's no magic, there's no extra than what you're actually seeing me do. You know what I mean? And that's really important to me. That's been really important to me in the PSIgames, kind of going past that, right? And so we go and Friday, my wife, once again, has not been around any of this stuff. She's just getting used to Vegas and my family and doing all this kind of stuff. So I take her to the PSIgames. For Andy, we're kind of round in third. You might as well just come out. The thing is that we've done about 35 podcasts, maybe even up to 40, and she's been having to sit for like hours and hours and end. But I'm gonna have her come back out. You're coming. But we go on Friday, man, and Friday is crazy, dude. Well, we get there on Thursday. We do what I call the track walk. We see what the Ageli wheel is. I don't get any time with it. I just get to see what the Ageli wheel device is. I see that they have like a backyard football field on the stage that they're going to use for distance. I basically get the general, but nothing specific, right? I don't remember that chord's there. And so Friday comes. I'm just going to have my wife tell you about Friday because she's going to give you the bigger, like, real version of what it looked like. And, dude, you got to tell them about the Phoenix and all that stuff because it blows you out of the water. This is my wife, Brandy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for filling us in.
Yeah. Okay, what am I telling him about?
Tell him about Friday and the PSIgames experience from your side because you had no exposure to any of that.
Did you say that you were the Happy Gilmore already?
I didn't tell him the second part of the Happy Gilmore. I only told him the first part at the Eagle race.
Oh, right? Yeah. So he was 100% the Happy Gilmore of the PSIgames. That's the best way you can describe it. So everybody else is like meditating, getting in their zen, kind of sitting there focused, and he's over like dancing in the corner to like Star-Lord. I don't know. Yeah, just doing his thing, jamming out.
Part of the thing, I'll let it go back, but part of the thing too, dude, is I'm not really a meditator. All of my stuff comes from like adrenaline and emotion. So when everybody else is like being quiet and finding their zen, I literally was listening to like White Ganja Night, dancing in the corner for like 8 hours straight for the entire PSIgames, just trying to keep my adrenaline going and movement, and keep my blood flowing, and definitely was already looking weird at that point. But tell them about the Phoenix, dude. The Phoenix.
So they started to compete. I think was the first one precognition?
Remote viewing, precognition, mind sight, dowsing, psychokinesis.
So there's this giant light up Phoenix that's sitting in the corner, and it's made by a company from England called Weird Technologies. And it reads like the energies in the room, and it would just be like a normal white light with a little bit of a glow while everybody's sitting there. When they started to compete, that thing like started lighting up all different colors. It was wild,
dude. So she's not going to tell the right. She's going to tell it, but I'm going to let her add in. So we get there, like I said, on Thursday. We see it. She's kind of blown away. We're meeting everybody. We're meeting like Chris Bledsoe, and we knew these people. We'd never met them before, right? And all these other high-end psychics and UFO people. And so Friday comes. We do our lectures. She's blown away by Pam Coronado, who's a remote viewer. You tell that part.
Yeah, that was my favorite one. So they had all different lectures, and I'm like a total crime junkie. I love that type of stuff. And so what Pam Coronado does is she remote views to find missing people. And she can tell whether or not they're dead or alive and kind of give you a basis of where to find them. She was talking about like all the different cases and things that she's helped solve. And I was like, wow, that is so cool.
They had this machine that was like a vibration chair that also had these lights that would flash over you and give you a false DMT experience. You're literally sitting there hallucinating without taking any drugs, and all sorts of binaural beats and aura pictures and authors and teachers.
Do they have coaches there? Like, did some of the people have coaches?
Yep. So what's cool too, dude, is what I didn't really mention yet is, so I competed as an individual. They actually had teams. So the different training, I'll say camps is the way I'll put it. The different training camps like Vision Without Eyes, Vibravision, the Monroe Institute, they all had teams of about 5 people that where each person would compete in a team event as well in these games. So it was so big, man. It was way bigger than Brandy or I thought it was going to be.
We didn't really know what to expect.
You know, it was definitely more like a Contact in the Desert or like a Comic-Con compared to the the Rec Room, senior center kind of thing. So we're already blown away. I do amazing in the games. Let me tell one more thing because I want Granny to tell this part. Friday night, right? The night ends on the Chris Bledsoe Orb Watch. We don't have tickets. I've not won the PSIgames yet. I'm just this random dude. Dude, Happy Gilmore to the max. Everybody there is dressed in suits and ties, or at least business casual. I roll in my race jersey. It's a little bit tight even. It's got Monsters Nightmare
even
and
a jersey
and stuff all over it. Dude.
That's awesome,
so I roll in. Everybody's like giving me the cold shoulder. They're like, "Who the F is this guy?" I meet Colonel John Alexander in my race jersey, and he definitely gave me a look like, "Who is this guy?" Do you know what I mean? And so just all these things, right? And so the Chris Bledsoe things at night, and I have my perceptualist badge, so I'm thinking, all right, well maybe we can get into a couple places. Nope. And I'm actually friends with all the Bledsoes now, so it's cool on the back end, but. I wasn't able to get in, but in the process of trying to get in, we accumulated about 15 people. And by the time we got to this parking lot where we were seeing the same sky as the event, we collected probably about 35 or 40 people. And we ended up watching the skies from this parking lot area. They found out that I was going to be a competitor, and we're not part of the formal event, so there's some adult things going on, adult beverages going around, and we're all just talking and dancing. We have music going. We actually get told to be quiet, from the event. Saturday comes in the middle of the competition, and like Brandy was saying, everybody was so quiet and zen, and that's just not at all me. So Brandy's out there, and the first event's up that I'm in, and it's precognition. So Brandy's yelling at me like 2 minutes. She's giving me my race, timing. You know what I mean? Like, the same way that when we race, she's yelling at me like 2 minutes left, keep pushing, don't stop. You know what I mean? Like same stuff. And then Brandy starts cheering and yelling, Monsters Nightmare. And then, dude, the minute she started doing that in the home stretch of this, the whole event changed. Those same like 40 to 60 people started losing their mind for me, yelling Monsters Nightmare and cheering. Yes. And the event went from like super quiet to the whole place just erupted. The Monroe Institute people started cheering for their folks. Like the whole dynamic of the venue completely changed from that moment forward to cheering and like a motocross event or like the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like something where it was not so serious. You know what I mean?
Not so much like a chess match or something.
Yeah, that's fun. That makes it more fun.
Exactly.
And I bet the organizers were thankful for that too. They're like, hey, some pop,
Dude, I'm positive they were on the backside of it because I know all of them now. I'm friends with all of them. But, dude, so it just changed the dynamic. We end up killing it on Saturday. Hakeem, the promoter, when he gives out the trophies, dude, it's straight up. It's like the giant Happy Gilmore checks. I get 3 of them. So I get the most amount of checks, and he said these really kind words when he gave me my last one, and changed my life, man. Changed my life. Because what was crazy about the PSIgames too, man, is you're doing this in front of at least 800 to 1,000 people in this main ballroom. There's like commentators and teachers on this side, like influencers commentating. You have generals and scientists on this side overseeing the experiment or the game, right? And you have 30 cameras. Each competitor has a camera. Each station has a camera. There's like 30 people walking around videoing everything. So there's no way getting around anything, right? It was as controlled as you could make it, but still make it a playable game. Not a completely controlled experiment, but controlled enough that you're not able to cheat it, right? Yeah. So, 716.
What really makes cheating in psychic though, right? It's like, well, I mean, they're psychic. Is it cheating, or are they just they're better? It's like being
you would be surprised about the skeptics.
You would be surprised what we've heard on the backside of this, dude. Everybody wants me to apparently shoving stuff up your bum is apparently the go-to. I think everyone just wants me to prove that I have nothing in my ass. I'm just saying that is literally the number one thing they always say. And I even brought it up at Contact in the Desert. I'm like, there's nothing in my bum. You know what I mean? So, because dude, it's been hard. You know what I mean? And even when you show the process, I've now shown a year of the process. People just want to hate, and it's cool though. You know what I mean? Like at the same token, I love me some mythology and the myth of the cave, right? The people that are so confined and so rigid are at the bottom of the cave. They're only knowing the cave. That's all they've ever known. You know what I mean? And maybe the people that are slightly up are making the shadows that the cave people are seeing, but they're not seeing what the world really is, right? And they just don't have the experience or the color palette. Dude, when you watch 300 people die and you've been all over the world racing motorcycles and seen every amount of kindness and every amount of racist, horrible craziness, you have a big color palette. Do you know what I mean? You just have a lot of experience to paint from and express with that just some people don't, right? And so I get if you only know a Chris Angel or a magician and that's your entire reference for this kind of stuff compared to like a spiritual teacher that's doing it something completely different, I get it. It looks similar. And what I've done over this last year is just try to prove that it's not that. You know what I mean?
Does yours feel, that was going to be one of my questions, like, does it feel spiritual to you, like a gift, like how people preach about it, some Gandhi type thing? Or does it feel more like a part of you, like, oh, no, I've just developed this as, a weightlifter now can squat 700 pounds because he's worked his whole life? Is it more of that to you?
I would say more on that end, but in the dialect of everybody, you can teach everybody to make a layup and shoot a basketball, but you can't necessarily teach to be a LeBron or a Michael Jordan or in this case, dude, a Jokic, right? For us here in Denver, right? So yes, I do think people are more apt, dude. What's crazy on the backside of all this, and I know I brought you over and I'm not letting you talk, but dude, I just got done doing this thing called the intuitive perception, which was actually put on by the PSIgames, and I was one of their trainers, and they taught how to do everything except for psychokinesis. So they taught remote viewing, dowsing, precognition, and mind sight. And you meet, dude, that one experience felt like X-Men school, because the people that are really into it can prove it on command. And dude, I have seen things that prior to this, I would have been like, no, probably not. And then even some of the stuff with myself, I'm like, how is this actually working in my head right now? Because what am I actually doing? Dude, there's been so many conversations where I've had to have like temperature checks with my wife. Like, dude, I hate to be like this, but kind of the Roy, or even from the female character from the new movie with Disclosure Day, where you kind of feel like you're going insane because these things are happening for you in such a way that it's like undeniable, right? And I get this information in these channels. I don't know how else to describe it. And so I think everybody can do it though. So don't get me wrong. I don't think it's just a Ryan specific thing. I think everybody can do it. I think everybody has this within them. I hate to be like this, but I think Brandy can verify one thing too. Brandy, what do you think the one common thing is in like the hyper psychics, the above average height psychics?
It's trauma. It's 100% trauma. All of the ones that we have met, there has been some sort of crazy trauma that has ignited their psychic abilities. So yes, everyone can do it, but I think more people who experience higher levels of trauma are better at it, or it comes more easy to them right away for whatever reason. I don't know.
You could back it up from the clinical side, dude. This is why I always try to be the balance, right? The clinical side, you could be like, okay, well, trauma usually, would come with a little bit better pattern recognition. You're hypersensitive to people's. You become an empath, whether you want to or not. Typically, you can read people's emotions or nonverbals. All the stuff I talked about with my childhood, right? And you especially, dude, I've been assaulted. I actually had a kid break my jaw at one point, and it's when and dude, I also was a fighter. I did all these things, but on the professional side, when you're being attacked by a severely schizophrenic guy who has, sharps from their diabetic box, you just become a lot more in tune the next time you go into that room. You know what I mean? And that for 20 years. You know what I mean? So you just become pretty highly tuned. So a person that's not constantly put in that environment may not have that ability to have that kind of telepathy connection with others, but they may still have the precognition. You know what I mean? They still may have these other elements of it that just aren't as heavy. You know what I mean? So I guess that's my 2 cents. I think, dude, there's a dude that I watched him clear up the weather. And I think he has kind of a social media influence. His name is Jesus of the Rising Sun. Some of his videos are a little bit out there, but some of his videos are pretty amazing. And dude claimed he could do the weather and made the weather happen. There was a dude that can apport. So teleport is like doing stuff with like electronics. Upport is making things appear. I literally watched a dude. I hate to be like this, but I was the skeptic, and I'm like, all right, show me, dude. And he literally can just make pennies appear, and it's just like this unassuming dude from Europe who was super nice and super sweet. You just literally pennies. Watch him, and it just happens. And he has it on video, and you can watch it happen in person. And dude, Dahlia and her ability for mindsight, dude. At Contact in the Desert, I just watched Sean and Justin, who were also featured on 1,000 Blindfolds, who are literally blind. Sean can literally take out both prosthetic eyes, show the ability to do mindsight on the stage at Contact in the Desert. I mean, when you're talking about teaching blind people to see, I mean, that sounds like a miracle. And I watched it. I literally am training with the people that are doing this. We have our own training group that's from around the world. Dude, there's a woman named Carol in Brazil, and if Carol is sleepy, dude, you don't even want to touch it. You don't want to be anywhere near her because she can do everything, and she can do it 10 times better than anyone else. What? And there's a woman named Heidi
this is awesome.
Who's had some medical issues. Dude, there's a woman named Heidi, and she has some medical issues, but she's got a lot of functioning with one hand. And she can do psychokinesis with this one hand way better than I can do trying with everything I have, all my hands and all my might. You know what I mean? And you meet these people, dude, and you realize human potential really is so much more. And it's not woo-woo, and it's not just, some trainer that's been training in a monastery for 10 years and has developed the ability. I do think there's seat time. I think there is the heart matches word matches actions, the time, energy, and effort to put into it, right? You have to train it. It's not, sometimes it'll come, but if you want it to come with consistency, you have to train it, right? But dude, it's real. It's real all the way around. I've met so many military people, dude, that literally their job was to do this stuff. And prior to like the last few years, that wasn't even considered to be a real thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I literally just trained with this dude from England who was part of their British crew that would find these, and he literally just saved a woman at gunpoint. It was like, it just blows your mind, right? I just met this person, and they were one of the trainers at the thing I was at, and it's.
Have you ever tried to use your precognitive? There you go. On the orbs or anything like that? Have you tried to interact with
all the time? I'll try. I try to keep it as I try to keep a balance between the woo and the clinical. But dude, I will straight tell you, Brandy, biggest. I won't even say anything. Biggest orb influence in your life, because you had not really seen or experienced any of that nonsense till you came with me, right?
No.
Tell the top two. Make sure that at least one of those is the 11th loop house.
Okay.
Not the spirit of the orb.
The orb?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of them actually was this past year. We always like around Halloween to go do all the stuff at the farm. So we like going to Anderson Farms, and they have huge corn mazes that you can go through. So we're all walking through the corn maze, and he's like, "Oh, I know what's going on. You guys need to look over here in this direction."
Well, I told everybody to stop. because we were like walking through trying to find the like little letters or whatever. And I'm like, guys, we need to stop. Something's about to happen.
And we're like, okay. And we look up and it is like a giant blue orb that first comes into focus. And then pretty soon it's like a bunch of lights kind of in the triangle shape. And then as soon as it appears, it just kind of disappears. And everybody's standing there with like, you know, jaws open, like, wait, what did I just see?
And it wasn't just my wife and it wasn't just my kids. It was like a few random people on the trail with us, my dad, his wife. And like my dad's sitting there. My dad's, you know, he's very supportive, but he's not, I don't think he has an opinion on all this. I think he's just supportive. Right? So my dad sees this and he's like, I think we need to go back up to the front. Nobody's trying to have a Signs moment. You know what I mean? For the old movie Signs where they're like in the cornfield. Yep. Yeah, man. But dude, we constantly have orbs. I live we call my house the Rhino Pit just because we have some ramps and you know we do the moto out here, but I constantly have orbs literally to the point that like they're 100 feet above my neighbor's house, maybe 200 yards away. You know what I mean? And they're about the size of like. That's the $1 million question, man. If you had to ask me, my heart, I don't know that they're from outer space. I think so me and this other guy that do this. So I'm also friends with the guy kind of by you named Lights Over Loveland, who does a lot of the orb stuff too. And so we've actually caught like the same triangle ships. Like they'll come from the north and come south, and like we'll communicate with each other, and we'll both catch them. But what's interesting is a lot of the ships feel like nuts and bolts and they're high, right? They feel like I'm seeing something up high. These orbs feel like they come in from the fracking fields. Just there's nothing else out there, right? And they literally come in low. They're usually more of a red or a yellow, sometimes blue, but usually more reds and yellows. And they'll come in just over the houses, maybe 50 feet to 100 yards off the house of our neighbors, and they just hover and then they'll just disappear. Whereas like when we see the ships, you even the like triangles that we've seen, you kind of see them go linearly, or at least they kind of fade in and out, but they're moving in some sort of a space where you feel like you're seeing something real, tangible, right? We had an experience at this other house that I'll let Brandy tell the back end of it, but dude, the orbs have like came into our house. At this other house that we had.
Wow.
But I don't think they meant to scare Brandy, but I'm gonna let her tell her because she got the brunt end of it.
Well, what do you think, Brandy? Because you're a little more religious at first.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Whatever it is, like I used to be like, he'd be outside and be like, you need to come see these orbs. There's all these orbs. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay. So then I remember the first time though that I saw one and I was like, oh, okay, you're not messing around. Like these are actually real. And I think it really has something to do with a higher power and setting intentions in your emotions. You know, like we have seen more orbs when we go out there and we're setting the intention saying, hey, please come and show us. We want to see you, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it has to do something with good intentions and a higher power. But that would be my take on it. I don't know. But at the house we lived in first, when we got together, we lived in the basement. And I remember waking up one night and I like yanked him out of bed and was like, what is happening? And there was like this ball of light just floating around. And I was like, am I crazy? What am I seeing? What is this? And he was like, yeah, no, I see it too. So that was kind of my very first experience.
Well, and what she's not telling you, because I don't think she wants to be embarrassed, but I'm going to embarrass her just a little bit because I can. What she's not telling you is we saw it both at the same time. I was in the basement. She was upstairs getting ready to take a shower. And as it kind of traveled through the house, because I'm sitting there thinking, what am I seeing? Like, am I even really seeing this? Is this just an eye blur? Like what is happening here? And so that same thing ended up traveling upstairs and turning off the lights, cranking the stereo, just affecting all the electronics, and actually scared her out of the shower and actually out of the house, unbeknownst to me, to her sister's house in a robe. directly out of the shower. And so, but it never like hurt us. It never did anything. If anything, it's actually helped us. We've been woken up by these orbs or these like they almost have like a buzz or a crack to them, like electronic. I don't know how to describe it. It actually woke us up to a flood once, so that our house didn't get flooded. We thought we were getting wet, and then we see these like bright flashes, and it actually saved our basement from being completely flooded out. So it's, you know, I don't pretend to know. I definitely feel like the orbs are from Earth or something that we're creating, maybe our consciousness. I mean, when I was at Contact in the Desert, we did the Chris Bledsoe watch, and his orbs looked more like when me and Justin look, and they're high up. But at like 1 a.m., I was talking to my mom and asking for a sign with the orbs, and then I get crazy orbs, the orange yellow orbs, right over the golf course at Contact in the Desert in like the iconic triangle. And not only was it a sign, but like it definitely connected with me, and I felt like it was meant for me, right? And all that craziness, dude.
People think they're what the Pleiadians. That gets connected a lot with the orbs. I am pretty familiar with like the UFO of God angle with Chris Bledsoe and stuff. I really like that too. That's kind of why I ask, because you're a little more religious, and I'm into the like wandering angel type, fallen from God kind of answer too. So.
I am on the same I would say same belief as Chris Bledsoe, that it's angelic, that it's some sort of higher power. Yeah.
And once again, man, I'm not saying it is or isn't. I just don't know. And I'm more of a, like, once I know that I'm going to say it with my heart, but until I know, I'm not going to say I know, you know?
Right. Do you think they do that purposely?
I think so, dude. I think it's just meant to be just enough to just keep you, you know, and the other part of it too, and I'm sure I'm the only weirdo that does this, but I literally every single night, if there's any amount of clear breakage, I'll go out there and I'll try to talk to it, man. And I'll just try to connect with what's going on around me. Dude, we've had so many weird animal experiences. Dude, Disclosure Day made me cry. Nobody else cried in Disclosure Day. I cried when they started bringing in all the animals because, dude, we literally have the craziest animal experiences my entire life. So many that she's shared with me. Literally wild animals coming up to me at my current house, like hawks and eagles and owls and I mean bears, we sharks. I mean literally everything, all sorts of different rays and ocean animals and it's these like one-off experiences, dude. You know, and it's just all that collective, dude. It's been such a wild ride. Brady, do you have anything else that you think of to add? Because I think I've kind of talked about the gambit.
Yeah.
When do you think the gate stuff ended? Like you said, you kind of just lost interest almost, but like, do you think people are ever still watching you?
Dude, it's a weird thing. I'm almost afraid to say it because I don't want to give on that I might know. But dude, I have gotten out of so many tickets. I'm a racer. And I have never gotten a speeding ticket. Well, I back up. I've gotten one speeding ticket when I bought my brand new truck that I have now. I wanted to see how fast the truck could go, and we were late to soccer, so I got a speeding ticket. But dude, there was so many times as like a teenager and a college kid where I had much faster cars and did way crazier stuff and totally got caught and totally got out of it. I'm not going to say there was a thing in college that I shouldn't have been able to get out of, and I got out of. And man, you know, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because on the flip side, you have a lot of people saying that's the opposite, right? That they've actually had these kind of rougher lives, and they have a lot of like more mental illness and different things that have happened to them as like a result. I'm going to be honest with you, man, and say I'm blessed.
Maybe those are the people who didn't work towards it, you know, they didn't try to, like you said, not so much meditate in it, but you like tried to escape your mind on it, you know? So maybe the messed up ones or the people with issues are the ones who didn't try to quote unquote, not be addicted to the painkiller, you know?
Exactly, man. And that's just it. Right. And that's, you know, I 100% believe that we influence our outcomes, right? Like if you're not willing to put in the work, why would you ever expect that it happens, right? And the same thing, man, if you're not in the race, so you're not gambling, you're never going to win, right? You're never going to win the lottery if you never play. You know, and it's just a weird dynamic, dude, because you also want to balance that with not letting that stuff take over. I think I do a pretty good job. I definitely do a better job since 2015. I think, you know, kind of over the hump. She's still giving me the look, so maybe not totally over it. But
there was a moment of
say,
silence
you know,
there.
There was a moment. She's not like, yeah, you're better. She's like,
well, I'm just listening to what you're saying.
She's like, you don't need another motorcycle. We don't need all this other stuff. You don't need to go gamble. But dude, it's like, you know, just all this verification over all this time too. Is this last year of my life has been hardcore documented. I've been interviewed and studied now by English scientists, by our American scientists. I just had Larry Farwell is a Harvard neuroscientist we're about to do something here in September. I forgot the guy's name, but basically an equivalent version from England through weird technologies. I actually did do the testing with them for about 2 hours. No visuals, calling out Zener cards correctly, crazily collect, you know, to the point that like even during the interview, I'm like, guys, can I please get some videos of this? Because no one's ever going to believe me that I'm doing so well. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like, and of course they wouldn't do it because it was part of a study. But
well,
I got the things back saying that they did it.
You have one on Instagram that's actually really good like that, and she's pulling out colors and you start getting closer and further away, but then you almost get to the point where you're calling the color right when her hand is touching it before she's even lifting it up. Dude, you can see it like a bicycle wheel. Dude,
it's crazy too, man, because once you get into the zone, it just comes quicker and faster and harder, and it takes a little bit of time to warm up to it. But dude, yeah, it's crazy. But I want to make sure I give you guys some time to, because dude, what's as important to me, in terms of, you know, anybody that looks up my name, if you look up Monsters Nightmare number 716, there's a year and about 40 podcasts and all sorts of stuff, me doing it. I want to show you guys that everybody can do it. Now it's not just me, that it's all of us, right? And so first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to do a little precognition. I am all about transparency, so I just like to show everybody. I'm going to do one really quick thing. We're going to make it a little bit clunky, but you're going to like why I'm doing it. So this is just a camera. I'm going to show you guys. There's nothing under the table. We're going to look underneath here. Nothing under the table. It is just a regular. Oh, this is my dog Love. There's nothing under the table. I have nothing on my hands. I will take my sunglasses off. There's nothing under my shirt. I'm not wired in any way. I will nothing actually empty my. Dude, that's the one thing I'm not going to show you. That's a different podcast. But dude, you have no idea. There's a famous MMA guy named James Wilkes who was like real popular in like 2012, 2010. Was a vegan, like real kind of the one MMA guy that I would have thought probably would have been more on my side. Just completely blew me apart in one of my videos, to the point that I called him out on it. And we actually have a thing potentially going with Netflix at the end of the year where I'm going to prove him wrong by doing what I do. I'm actually going to also be on another TV show called Battle of Fates. So, dude, it's been blowing up. But I just want to show everybody exactly what we have here. We're going to do a little thing with what's called a Plinko board. Anybody remembers the 90s Bob Barker? Bob Barker. Price is wrong.
Price is wrong.
What we're going to do real quick is I'm going to actually back this up. I'm going to let you do it, Randy.
Okay.
I'm going to back it up so we can see the whole board. So basically, guys, tell me when I'm on the thing because I can't see exactly. Is saying you see the whole board then?
Can you guys see the top of the board?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Now we can see it. So what we're going to do, guys, is this is 1 over here. This is 7 over here. It goes blue, or it goes red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. Basically, Brandy's going to put the chip somewhere up top. You just tell her when to stop. You're each going to do it, and you're going to call out blue or red.
Okay, so we'll start with Michael. So just tell me when to stop.
Now.
Okay, and blue or red?
Red.
Okay, let's see.
Oh my gosh.
White.
Randy, all right. You gotta do a redo. That never happens. Hold on. Oh, I know why I did it. You gotta
I did it the wrong way.
I froze it right there.
Redo.
This side down.
The circle side, so that you see the Pluto.
Okay.
Yep, there we
Okay,
go.
try again.
Now,
Okay, red or blue?
red.
Red. Red
Nice.
7.
Dang.
All right, Matthew. I'm gonna do yours.
I was
All right.
even thinking 7 in my head.
All right, stop. And we're gonna go blue.
Really?
Blue.
Blue. Oh,
see.
we do one more. One more. Michael, you tell me when.
Now,
Okay, red or blue?
blue.
Blue. Oh, it hit the last second. All right,
Dang.
Matthew.
All right, stop. And let's go blue.
Blue.
It's gotta hit blue sooner or later, right?
Blue.
Nice.
Dude, you guys
Hi,
are
mate.
even. We're ended there. That way you guys are tied. Nobody has psychic bragging rights yet. So basically, dude, I'm gonna you guys just doing a very, very quick version. So I actually do trainings with folks that are competing in the PSIgames once a week on an international scale. So I have the woman from Brazil. I have a few people. We'll do that. Let's do the regular playing cards.
Okay.
And I don't know where they are. They're in the screen that over.
Okay.
So we're gonna do one more really quick thing with you guys here. We're gonna do another version of black red, dude. This is how you become the roulette master. You just know if it's gonna be black or red. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a regular. Oh, you do it.
Okay.
We're gonna use a regular set of playing cards. We will take the jokers out. I'm gonna let you do this part.
Mm-hmm.
What Brandy's gonna do is she's gonna shuffle them and she's gonna lay out a set of 3, and then we're just gonna say the pattern. The pattern does not have to be exact. You just have to say 2 blacks and a red, or 2 reds and a black, or black, red, black. However you want to say it.
This thing is not doing great.
I know it's been everywhere now.
All right, just so you can see that it was shuffled.
We try to keep it legit.
Okay. Okay, so I'm laying out 3 cards. Oh my gosh, I put it up. Sorry. I am not the normal trainer, you know?
It's true. All right, guys. So these are our 3 cards. Michael, you go first.
I think there's 3 reds.
3 reds. Matthew.
2 reds and a black.
Okay. Black.
Oh, got the 3 pattern. All right. Let's do one more set of. Well, let's do 2 more sets. We'll do one.
Okay. So just speaking to anyone can learn it, this is kind of how I started. And I don't remember what I started out with, but now I'm up to about 40 out of 52 cards correct. Black or red.
Oh, wow. It is okay. No, that's cool to hear, right? Because it really is. It's like it's a training thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I used to sit like that as a kid. I'm not going to lie right now, as dorky as that sounds. I spent a whole lot of time in my dark room trying to like move stuff with my mind, you know?
Dude, I'll show you how to train it. Let's do this though. We got this one and one more.
Okay. What's your guess, Michael?
Oh, I'm going to say 2 blacks and a red.
I'm going to
2
go the
blacks and a
opposite.
red?
2 reds and a black.
Okay.
I'm going to say 3 reds.
Okay. Red, black.
Oh, 2 reds and a black.
Oh, he got it.
Dude.
It's you, Matt.
I just went the opposite as you.
Let's do one more. We're going to do one more. This is going to be for all the marbles. The other ones were just warm up. This is the psychic bragging. All right, Michael, you go first.
It's red, black, red.
Okay.
3 reds.
Black, red.
Okay. Black,
Dang.
black, red.
Boom. That's all right. I had an unfair advantage. I've been training with it.
Right.
But dude, it's but something that simple is an easy way to train, right? What I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a couple of different versions of Mind Sight, exponentially getting harder. Let's end on the Zener cards with the new mask so I can talk about that. Let's do the color thing real quick. So I just want to show you guys, my eyes are legit pretty sensitive, even to just like dull light. But I just want to show there's nothing on. My glasses are just Spy Optics glasses, nothing in them. There's no smart version of this. Actually, yeah, we'll use this mask. So what they used in the PSIgames as hold on one second. Let me describe this and we'll do the dump out. What we used in the PSIgames, guys, as the main mindfold or the main blindfold for Mind Sight is what's called a mindfold. And so I've actually got mine all done up. I'll show you the important part, which is the back. So the back is what the mindfold is it's a plastic blackout mask that uses compression foam. What I've done to this one specifically is you guys can see I blocked the nose so people can't say I'm nose peeking, and you guys can see it's all the way up in there. It's just tape. I wrote send it on it. You know what I mean? I've got a number plate on it, the PSIgames sticker. I do demonstrations with eye patches as well, so sometimes I'll just put those over. But there's no, you guys saw there's nothing there. I just have stickers on to make it look cool, right? And so what I'm going to do is we're going to use the one with the nose. I'm going to have Brandy. Let's go this way.
Okay.
I'm going to have Brandy mix up these colors. I just want to show everybody. These are just Amazon toddler toys. There's no braille. There's no like indentions that say like what they are. They're just colored pieces of wood. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, in less than a minute, get her phone.
Yeah, my watch.
You watch. In less than a minute, I'm going to have her mix these all up, and I'm going to try to do this in one shot here and show you guys I can do it in under a minute, get everything as close as I can to 100%.
Let's go.
And this is what you would call intuitive Mind Sight. This is going to be using a lot of my hands and being able to feel colors. So I'll let you I'm going to put this on. What I'll do too, guys, I like to get up in here, just show everybody I'm sealed. Brandy, this is a weird camera angle.
Yeah, you got it.
You can see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'm mixing them up.
Okay.
And hold on, I think you scooted up, so I don't know if they can see. Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
Ready? Marks, set, go.
Time my big hands are not wanting to pick up these things. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to get like a pre-feeling of what the color might be with my thumb and forefinger, and then I'm using the back of my hand to kind of feel the colors on top to kind of match it. It's kind of a heat match would be the best way I could describe it. You're really trying to find what feels similar. I've been training with these enough, so I can pretty much tell you like that very likely was a yellow. This is a red. I've just trained enough with these things. I know what these things feel like.
3 left.
3 left. Where are we at on time?
58. 59.
Crushed it. Oh,
We did it?
One
Dang.
1 minute. Oh, it went off. 1 minute, 1 second.
Oh my gosh! Really? A minute and 1 second?
Yeah. But that's
Oh.
and you were getting all of them right too.
Yeah, so I'll show it to you.
Yeah, it's got to be like 100%.
Occasionally he messes up.
Yellow and
the
orange.
greens. So he did mess up one.
What I messed up?
He got one blue in the green.
Oh.
But those
Does
are
he
kind
have
of
a orange and a yellow in there, or orange and a red?
no, he got all those right.
Did he?
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
you think those colors would be more?
Yeah, like
more
harder
hotter.
to tell the
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
It's always been blues and greens, man. It's literally my Achilles heel.
Little bit of blue green colorblind.
I'm glad you
Dude.
described it too, because I was really curious, like how you were seeing the color. Because earlier you kind of explained the best way I could think of it was like the Batman vision. You know, when he turned on the phone, you could see things like that also. But I was like, how does color work? You know?
And so that what you just described is exactly what I'm going to be doing primarily for this next one.
Okay,
let's do the patches. We'll just do a straight patch. So I like to show all different angles, right? So we just used the mindfold with the nose gap, kind of a standard mindfold. Showed you guys we were sealed in there. Do you mind putting that back in while I do this? Yep. What I'm going to do, guys, is I have medical patches that are from Amazon. You can buy them for like $8 or something like that for like a pack of 50 or there's something like that. But they're the black medical adhesive patches. These are brand new. So they have not been used. They are fully sticky. And basically, in addition, they seal up about a 1/4 inch on all sides. They also have a big plastic piece in the middle, so that everybody can kind of see what we sealed in. There's been a few practitioners that will actually do this and do the mindfold. I actually think it's more impressive when you just do it with just the patches, because then you can see exactly what's going on. You know what I mean? There's no illusion with a blindfold essentially. I do have to shut my eyes. So when I'm in the mindfold or this other mask I'm going to show you next, I actually do leave my eyes open. I can't physically open my eyes with these like plastic patches on there. So this is a little bit different of a skill. And Brandy, I think we're going to be okay. Do you just want to on camera push all the way around? Just do your thing. Just try not to blind me.
If there was ever a psychic and a supervillain look, it's
Okay, all sealed.
Okay. Do we have anything with colors? Let's do colors first, because this is always.
You want to do the shapes, the colors and shapes flashcards?
Let's do.
Phase 10.
Let's do phase 10, just colors.
Okay. So this is just the game phase 10. So I'm just gonna pull up the colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have the color sheets out?
No. Okay.
Is Xander around?
No, he's outside.
Is that Axel?
Yes.
Axel, will you run out to the thing and grab my color sheets, the big color sheets, the construction paper? The construction paper that's on the side of the thing.
Okay, are you ready?
Hand me that, and maybe we'll do the Zenners too, because I can't tell what's going to work best right now.
Okay, so here's the first one.
So, and you're facing it towards me?
Now I am.
And it's facing towards me?
Mm-hmm. Kind of towards you and towards the camera.
Is it a circle?
This is the phase 10.
This is phase 10. Is this blue?
Blue. Yep.
Yep.
Blue 6. Okay. Next one.
Is that yellow?
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. Those phase 10 cards are a lot harder than I remember them being.
And I couldn't find the binders, but I found the
construction paper.
No, I found these.
The see-through ones.
Oh no! Just go see if you can find the construction paper. If not, it's no big deal. Is that green?
Green.
All right, we're still doing all right. This will work for now.
Okay.
Green or blue? It's that same green.
Blue.
Blue. God darn it. Let's try the Zenner cards just real quick.
Okay, I got one last one.
One last one. Green.
Yep.
Let's try a Zenner card like this, and then I want to do the mask just to show them.
Okay.
Oh, did you find it?
Do you want to do the Xander cards, or do you want to do the color shapes?
Let's do the color shapes in the mask. Let's do just one or two Zenner cards, and we'll lead into the other mask.
Okay.
Do your kids do this?
Yeah, Axel. Actually, Axel could do the next demonstration.
So this you can also get on Amazon. It looks like a normal deck of cards, but at the bottom you can see that it's ESP. Mm-hmm. So it just is the Zinner cards. And some of them are double-sided. I don't know why, but I'll try to make sure we don't get any of the double-sided. And do you guys know what the standard shapes are for Zinners? Okay, so the typical Zinner deck comes with 5 different shapes. So there's square, water, circle, plus, and a star.
Yep. Nice.
So here's the first one.
Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Plus.
Yep.
Let's just do 3 like this, and I want to show them the new mask, and I want to tell them why. Is that water? That's
yep.
Water. I could so one of the things is I can taste water. It's weird. So I just want to show you guys once again we're sealed in. I'm going to show you guys the unstick process just to prove we were sealed in the whole time. Oh my god, that hurt. That one was even crossed in the middle. Yeah, that one was a little bit rough. Just to show you guys it's for real. I just want to show you guys one more thing with MindSight, then we'll get off MindSight and we'll do some other cool stuff. So I went to Contact in the Desert, and I'm all about, being the guy that's a trophies and receipts guy. I love my UFO community. I would say I've been welcomed by 99.9% of them. Chris Ramsey is a well-renowned, he does Area 52. He's an influencer. He's also a magician and a mentalist, right? I am not. And one of the things is he actually did this presentation called Magic, 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 where he actually threw a lot of shade, even literally saying the perceptualists here, that do MindSight, which kind of made me upset, straight honesty. What he was saying is not necessarily in the mindfold that we use, but in a typical blindfold like a person would use to prove like a psychic ability. He was saying that you can see through the bottom of it. And he did a demonstration where he just put a blindfold on, tied it, acted like he was being able to tell what was happening, but he was seeing through the bottom, right? And none of this is fake for me. I am not a magician. I wish I was Chris Angel. I wish I had Chris Angel money, but I'm not. You know what I mean? And honestly, it hurt my feelings and made me upset. And I'm not a dude that's just gonna let a person talk smack on me when I'm the trophies and receipts guy. So what I did is part of the other thing is too is the PSIgames really wants to set the standard for real psychic ability, not making sure we're screening out anything that isn't legit, right? And so what he was saying is that you could see to the bottom. So what I did is I used these work masks and I painted the inside. You guys can actually see it's sealed all the way through. There's a filter at the bottom that comes in it. You can actually buy these on Amazon. And I'll actually show you what a clear one looks like just to show everybody. So you would have the paint, or you can even put these blackout inserts that I've made for him as well. But basically, you would put this on, and once you're in, you're completely sealed into it. To the point that I'm sure that when I'm talking to you, it's actually going to fog up. So it actually seals around the edge. I added this foam on the cheeks. And then when the filter's in, you literally are completely sealed in. And when the front of it's painted, you're just in a complete blackout mask and you're literally just sealed in to the point that you're having to breathe through the filter, right? So there is no way to cheat this mask. You are literally sealed in. I've also done a demonstration where I'll put on a hat to prove the top's sealed. You'll see it sealed in at the bottom. Actually, he left, didn't he? I won't do a hat today, but trust me, I've done it in hats and stuff. And just to prove that we're sealed, dude, I want to be known as the dude that showed that this was real. You know what I mean? And so once again, we're in. I'm going to show all the way around it. Once again, we're sealed to the cheek, to the bottom. The filter is in. We're actually physically sealed up top, almost to the point that I'm sure that when I take this off, you're going to see the ring where it sat on my forehead.
And this time, I'm just going to use this deck of colors and shapes.
Well, give me the Zenners. I know I got Zenners.
What? You said you wanted those?
We'll do both. Just give me the Zenners to start off with, because
Okay.
I've only had this mask since Contact in the Desert. So I'm still kind of getting used to this thing because
I'm just gonna shuffle them again.
Yep, 100%.
Okay.
It's a cool looking mask too.
It's like Iron Man, right?
Yeah, it kind of like some Halo feels too.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Halo.
Dude, I made some that were like teal blue and teal red, or not teal, but sparkly red and sparkly teal blue and purple, and I made a whole bunch of different color schemes too.
Okay, here's the first one.
So I'm gonna just put this in my hand.
Facing up or down?
Facing, just put it in my hand, but the back facing my hand.
Nope, the back is not facing your hand. Okay.
So can they see the card?
Well, I showed it to them first, yeah.
Circle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the next one.
Is that Xander actually?
Both of them.
Is that a star? Or that's a plus?
Yep. Okay, here's the next one.
Can he tell which way the card is facing too?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, he just did.
Circle.
Right? He flipped it.
Circle. And so, Brandy, can you just show them there's nothing on these cards that makes it like distinct? There's no creases. There's no braille.
It's just a regular card.
Yep. And maybe, because this is still something I'm kind of getting used to. Brandy, maybe just put it somewhere here.
Okay.
Maybe
not having you touch it this time?
Yeah, not having me touch it.
Okay, here's the next one. Okay, it's next to you, facing the screen, though.
Water.
Yep. Okay. Next one's out.
Water, again, for sure, yuck.
Okay, hold on, that's a special one. Special one. Okay.
Was it near me?
Mm-hmm.
Square?
Mm-mm.
No. Square plus, I'm getting right angles. No?
Nope.
Let me try a different card.
That was blue water.
Yikes. Yikes.
Okay.
Oh, and apparently the card's right there. Let me do it from this side so they can see it's not just one side.
Okay.
Plus again.
Yep.
Let me just do a few random, like rapid fire.
Okay.
Plus. Star.
Star. Yep.
That's a plus.
Mm.
No. Oh, that's a triangle.
Yep. Okay.
And let me just do one more.
Okay.
That's a plus. Let me do one more so I can just show that it's not like there's one spot. It's just
okay.
That's water.
Yep.
And so I'll pull this off. Once again, you can see where it sat on my forehead. Once again, I'll get right up in here. You're completely painted in. There's no light that comes through. It's actually 2 layers of iridescent, then a black, then the gold, then a black, then a gold again that seals it in. But I mean, I think I showed you guys that can do it. Axel, are you still around?
And you don't get any interference from like the other cards just laying there that she instantly.
Oh,
she didn't even like move them away. Okay, I was like, she just left them right in front of you. Yeah,
I know, totally. There's been times where like we've been trained. So I lovingly say this: my wife is a trainer. My wife is not my main trainer just because she's my wife. So sometimes it's hard to train with your wife, and we make it work. But I have another trainer named Cheryl, and she knows. Like she's got a routine because honestly it does. When I'm trying to look for things, having multiple things out, I just know for Brandy, that's why I'm like, is it here? Because whether it's here or around, I'm kind of getting all of it, or it'll all mix when it kind of comes in. So that's why I was like, okay, is it here? Is it here? Where is it at? You know what I mean?
And I'm trying to learn mindsight. I can do colors, but I can only do colors so far. So what happens for me is that it's called they call it a window, wherever it opens up. So when he first started getting his windows, his were in the back of his head. For me, training, mine are just in the peripheral. And when you start training, your eyes are open in the mask because you're trying to train your brain to be able to see that. So I can't figure out. I try to focus like on one side and try to see what I'm seeing, or I try to focus on the other side, and I just cannot get them to come together. It's almost like a kaleidoscope. So that's why I can only see colors. So if I have something in my hand and kind of swipe it across, I can usually tell what color it is, but I haven't figured out how to focus it to be able to see the shapes or anything like that yet.
So I'm about to introduce you to one more part of my family. I actually have two sons, Xander and Axel. Axel actually tested in with MindSight, the thing that we just demonstrated. He tested into the top 10 of the adults for the PSIgames. So he can do MindSight as well. But what I'm going to have him show you guys is psychokinesis, which is the Ageli wheel. And I'm going to do a demo, and he'll do a demo for us. So what we have is when we use the Ageli wheel, let me explain what the Ageli wheel is. But what we do is we use a mask. This is just a blue from COVID era, blue, the dinosaur mask. So what the Ageli wheel is it's a device that really you train psychokinesis. You're talking about moving stuff in your mind. This is literally how you train for it. What it is the Ageli wheel is a device that is a electronic, kind of like a speedo, and you get kind of a feedback as this propeller spins. And I'm going to be real careful about taking this thing off, but the propeller is basically a bearing, and then what you do is you try to connect with these like propeller portions or spokes that come off of it. So when we do train with it, it does get affected by air. So usually when I have Axel train with it, I'll have him wear a mask. I'm going to actually, Axel, if you just want to show, I'll move the thing in the back. So if you want to show Axel, can you make it go both directions? Show him one way, then show him the other way.
It's going to be kind of hard to see because I haven't done a lot of practicing. So
you literally have practiced like twice a week.
Yeah, but today I haven't. Oh, I'm going to figure out which way.
That's crazy, though.
It's moving.
So if you're not feeling it, you're good. There you go.
Come on. Come on.
Do you want to try and make it go the other way? It's all right.
Dang. That's cool, though.
I'll let you take over this next. Here, but I want to show them under glass.
Okay, that's fine.
So what we do is, I'll demonstrate with this one real quick. But so when we would train with it, we would usually put up. I like it. Good drawing. We usually would put on a mask when we do it open. And basically, what you're trying to do is let me back up a little bit. The way I do it is I get real emotional. There's a moment right before you get really upset or you get really sad, and you can feel it in your heart. You feel like that lump in your chest. If you can kind of feel that in your heart, you can almost kind of bring that emotion or that energy from your chest or that heart area into your hands and kind of battery it up. And what you do is you kind of create a flow between your hands with kind of a positive and negative charge of emotion. I don't know how else to describe it, but that would be the way I would describe doing it. And so you can train with it out of glass. We do that a lot. What I do is I would actually, if I were training with a group, I may not wear a mask for this part just because we'll kind of clean it up a little bit. But we would train the Ageli wheel typically under glass. And so basically what the glass does, especially when you seal it, it makes it so that no air can get in. You can blow on it, nothing's going to happen, right? And And so I'm going to show you one I know I can get closer to the camera here. You can play with that one. But I have another Agili wheel here. So this one is not electronic, but it sits up higher, and I know I can get it closer to the camera.
Much cooler.
This one, it's nothing special. The Agili wheel itself is the exact same. It doesn't have the feedback right. It's just the actual Agili wheel itself. I have it on a Yankee candle holder with a candle top to kind of elevate it, and then just some glass from Walmart to seal it in, right? And so it actually elevates it above. Nothing too amazing or crazy. What we'll do is we're going to let it settle just for 1 second, just so nobody thinks it's the air that's actually going on in there. From when I put it down. And so like what I was saying, man, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to lie. Most of the stuff works really well with love and good intention and that type of emotion. Moving objects for me does come relatively easy when I get a little bit more upset, good or bad.
You turn into Carrie.
Dude, a little bit sometimes. my wife calls it the Hulk. I've had dude. All I'm saying is that if there's ever a time where like a kid gets stuck under a car, send me in, because I am probably the dude that could lift the car in the moment.
Yes.
But what I can tell you, dude, is if you give me some energy drinks and a reason to get pissed off, I'm the dude that could like pull a tree out of the ground. I really am. Good or bad. My wife can verify it on a house level. I've ripped out a door. I'll fully admit it. I have ripped out a door, the door frame, everything, because I got real upset over this motorcycle thing. Just ripped the door out. The whole entire thing comes out. It ruins a part of the house. I did that. I'm sorry, Brandy. We all know it now. The world's going to know it. But what I was going to say is, so I get kind of amped up. Dude, it's totally working. I'm getting amped up already. And so what I'm going to do, once again, there's nothing on my hands. I don't have anything on my sleeves. I've been doing the same thing the whole time. The wheel's not moving. I'm talking at it. I'm moving around it. Nothing's happening, right? And so when I start to think maybe about my mom or my kids, I start to think about maybe getting that emotion in my heart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to grab these propeller parts with the energy that's kind of like almost electronic static kind of building on my hands as I get emotional. Come on, baby. Work for mama. It's not going to work. John. Yeah, he's got to say the name. Say the name you know is going to work. Come on. Don't fiddle out on me now. Come on, dude. There we go.
All those people he hurt.
Yeah, it really is. It's that dude that gets me every time. Let's see if we can go the other way. Come on. Come on. Well, I got to go a little bit for you guys.
It moved.
It moved.
But also this shows you guys that it's also like I really am trying to influence it. Like there's nothing going on. Axel, do you want to try just real quick? You might get a better shot.
He did pretty good on his.
Dude, try it under the glass real quick. Just don't touch the glass. Here, maybe if we both do it. Come on, dude. Work for us. We're both trying. Come on, Mr. Agili Wheel. Is it gonna go? Here. Let's maybe back up one more time. I'm gonna try one more time. I feel my left hand is gonna get it this time. Come on, dude. Come on, left hand. Man, well, this is being a little bit lackluster, but oh, there we go. Come on. Come on. Move, bitch.
It starts.
Yeah. So basically, last year at the PSIgames, I got the Gelly wheels to go crazy. They actually set it up in kind of a different way. The Gelly wheel itself was out, but it was out in a sealed box, like a painter's box or like a sanding box. I think we're going to be using that exact same style of box, but with the glass over it. So you'll have two different air things that are, creating a situation where it's sealed off from air. But I that's the thing I won.
I like how you were kind of bummed out. You're like, oh, I only moved it an inch, as if moving it with your mind at all,
Yeah.
Or
no, dude,
or whatever.
There's been times where, like, when I'm in the zone, straight up, dude, I dance and I do some other stuff, but there's some other stuff I do that typically will like get me real amped up. And dude, I can get like two of those going under two layers of glass, opposite directions. And when I really focus on it, give me like a 30 minutes of focusing on it, I get that that would be doing crazy stuff. But kind of just cold turkeying in. At least I showed you I could do it.
Yes.
But
and your family.
We do remote viewing as well. That just takes too long to set up, but it's very typical remote viewing. I would say the difference is we also use AI created images. So images that weren't even images before we started to do the target.
That's impressive.
People usually, it's usually those are like the hardest. We also do coordinates. We'll also do like pictures, or we'll do envelopes or target boxes, where we'll have like things in boxes and people are trying to remote view what's in the boxes. We showed you a lot of the stuff we do for precognition. Any of the cards can be used for precognition. Psychokinesis, we use the Gelly wheels. You can also use a psi wheel, just like an apple and a pen and like a piece of paper or tinfoil on top can get you a lot of the same results as the Gelly wheel. I will tell you the Gelly wheel is the standard for what's going to be used in competition. But not, if you're just wanting to train it yourself and not spending money on the Gelly wheel, you can always just make a psi wheel. What else? Dowsing. Oh, dude, we could do one really quick thing of dowsing and I'll let you guys go. And it's kind of similar to what we did. Dude, the simplest way to do dowsing of all time is 3 balls in a cup or 3 balls in a metal target, mineral target. People use dowsing rods. I have them with me, but I'm not going to go grab them real quick. But people use dowsing rods or pendulums. I actually use my hands. We do typically about 9 targets. So we'll have 3 rows of 3 and maybe 2 actual targets within it. So maybe, two targets out of 9 options, and we'll try to find those. I usually do it blindfolded and to where I'm not even able to see it, and I'll just call out the number as well. I do think I'm going to be in dowsing this year. So in addition to last year, I'll be doing dowsing. But yeah, man, that's, in addition to being able to do some psychometry, which is being able to hold items and get, readings off of those items, I'm pretty darn good at that as well, especially things that I'm like familiar with. If you give me like an ancient Greek sword or, a samurai sword, I'm not going to get as much of a reading as maybe off like a deceased person's hat. It's just weird. That's just the way it works for me. But yeah, man, that's kind of the gambit. I don't speak with spirits. I'm not a medium. So fortunately or unfortunately, I've never allowed myself to kind of get into that realm. And no offense to anybody that does, but just for my clinical mind, clairaudience looks a lot like schizophrenia. And I don't even want to get close to it just because I don't want to be in that realm, even if that's something that I could train. But dude, that's the gambit and the realness from the Rhino Pit, man. You just saw the whole family. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
We train it. It's not magic or woo woo. We mess up. We get it right. We get it wrong. We have good days and bad days. And yeah, man, I appreciate you guys giving me and my family the opportunity to show you what we're all about.
I extra appreciate your family coming in, I think, because you're heavily already scrutinized and viewed, and people look at you with cameras left and right. You have all that, and Brandy sat there and Axel sat there, and they're just regular people. They're like, no, dude, we're learning this too. We walked from off screen. You don't got to teach us nothing. Axel is still dirty for playing outside.
Dude, you just saw his hands, dude. It's like the worst thing ever. But yeah, totally.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I appreciate you showing. I had a lot
Truly
of fun.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive. I will be ready to see some PSIgames action too, because that's awesome.
Dude, we'll be in touch, and I'll let you know how we do. I'm in, like I said, I'm in 4 of the 5 games. I'm hoping to at least walk away with 1 more medal. I know the competition is going to be a lot more. I know that just the people I've been training with over the last year are, I had some good highs, but man, we're all pretty even now. There's a guy named Austin that I haven't mentioned yet that I train with all the time, and he could probably match me in mind sight. I still got the mask over him because he just hasn't had a chance to play with it yet, but man, it's not just the United States, it's all over the world. There are some people coming from China this year, and dude, China actually has this stuff as part of their actual education, like their regular, school education. They actually do mindfulness. They'll do trainings like this, and we were actually just on a podcast where they asked us, do you think that, this would be a good thing, to incorporate into like our Rockefeller, education system. And me and Brandy both think it would be, man. You
at least like
India's
throw it in there as like an
China's
extracurricular or something, doesn't. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Dude, or even just mindfulness, just teaching the kids how to be off the screen. You know what I mean? It's good or bad. I don't think we're going to get rid of screens or any of that, but teaching the kids how to use them appropriately and as a tool, not as a escape. You know what I mean? And
well, it seems with a lot of empathy comes with this, right? Like you're very connected, I feel like, to everything. You and Brandy both, and everything around you, and it inherently things are going to be better, if you introduce that to everybody. If people were just a little bit more empathetic to everybody,
Dude, you get it. If the world was just more empathetic in general, and dude, it's crazy. This is why I cried the whole time through that darn Disclosure movie, because they talk about how important empathy is. And dude, it really is. If you can walk a mile in that person's shoes and understand where they're coming from, doesn't mean that you have to agree with them. Doesn't mean that you have to, allow that person to continue to make mistakes or not try to point them in a better direction. But at least it gives you the empathy of knowing why things are the way they are. And if you can have that connection with a person, not that you're trying to sell them on something or buy them into something, but it's a lot easier to connect with them, to show them that there may be more, there may be better ways, there may be different ways. And man, and once you have a person have their first shrimp moment, we call them shrimp moments. Just tell the really quick version of the shrimp moment, because it's important.
We're not telling the quick version.
Okay. There's an epiphany moment, right? An epiphany moment is what we call a shrimp moment. Specific reason why, but we won't share that now. But when a person has their shrimp moment or their epiphany moment, it no longer needs to be that you're convincing them. It's more about the motivation of like, how can I do it as well? Or how do I refine my ability to do this? And once you get there, whether it's the orbs, the side abilities, motocross, long drive, being a dad, being anything, man, it makes it flow a lot easier because you just get a better view. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that was perfect the way you actually said all that there too. It's a glimpse of who you were. Tell everybody where they could find you.
Dude, if you just look up my name, Ryan Desbien, I'm everywhere. YouTube, I have my own YouTube channel. If you look up Monstrous Nightmare Racing, or just once again, just look up my name, you can find it. I think the actual handle's got a weird number at the end of it. My Instagram is Monstrous Nightmare 1234. Facebook, I post basically primarily Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
We'll have all of it in the show notes.
Yeah, man. But I'm everywhere, and I think it's going to continue to keep growing, man. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do at the PSIgames, but I think we're going to do all right. And Brandy won't say it, but she's actually been she's going to be an alternate for one of the games just because they know she can produce and has at least been exposed to all this, so she would be able to, and she tested all right.
I'm hoping I don't have to compete though, because
come on,
he's like really good under pressure. Me, no, not good under pressure. So
maybe that'll unlock the talent.
Maybe,
dude. But we appreciate you guys, man. And I think Axel's actually going to be doing a demo. I'm going to do one last shameless plug for Hakeem, just because the dude's been so good to me. He actually came out. Let me just back up one more time. I'll make this as quick as I can.
You're good. You're good.
At the Intuitive Perception and at Contact in the Desert, Hakeem actually came out with a touchless EKG machine that actually sits. It's about the size of like a car headrest. It actually sits behind the lobe of your head and will measure your brain waves as you're doing these abilities. And so he's actually came out with that device, and it's called Flow State, and it actually has games in it. One of them totally feels like you could fly a UAP if you could learn it, because you're moving things up, down, left, right with your head. You're not touching anything. There's no interaction other than your brain. And this machine, it just sits behind your head. And you're able to use it for like focus. You're able to see where your alpha waves are, your gamma, your delta, theta and delta. That came out as one word.
That's one word.
So dude, that's what I'm talking about. But dude, you're able to see all this live as you're doing it and able to hone your abilities. In addition to that, he came out with the PSIgames Online, which is a free platform. You can just go on there, go on your cell phone, and you can actually do psychic training for free at your leisure. There's a remote viewing game. There's I think a mindsight game. There's 2 precognition games. Just super fun, super easy. I think you just have to give an email and say you're over 18 and you can get in and play them. And last shameless plug, but yeah, man, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you guys participating, and it's been fun, man. I'm going to do one last thing because I forgot to do this. But it's cool for my social media too. But do you guys just want to say hi real quick to the social media fans?
Yo.
Hi guys.
Yo.
we got our minds
blown. Dude, I appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. We are the End of Days best friends. Ryan Desbien, his wife Brandy, thank you so much for giving us the extra. I'm your boy Michael.
And I'm Matt.
And it is Men's Mental Health Month. Check on your boys, folks. We'll see y'all on the next one.
If you don't first subscribe, press your head.